You meet him at the Widgery turn-off, escort him out to Crowley's place, make sure Bob and the boys aren't waiting there to thump him, then get the hell out.
Bob Crowley know we're coming?
I tried to call him a couple of times this morning. His phone's not answering.
Look, it's probably a dumb question, but why can't this repossession bloke do his own dirty work?
Because he's put in a legitimate request for police protection and I can't legally refuse him.
I thought you and Bob were good mates.
What's that got to do with the price of fish? Do you think I'd be doing this if I didn't bloody well have to?
Sarge.
Look, stop dragging your heels, the pair of you, and just get out there and do it.
Mr. Miller,
Didn't think you were coming.
if you'd like to follow us.
Sure, no worries. Have a nice day. The rest of that bullshit.
Race, Mr. Crowley. Boys. I don't know if the Sarge has contacted you, but I reckon you know why we're here. This is Mr. Miller from the Mutual Acceptance. He's come for the harvester.
We've got a bit of a problem. The harvester's not here.
What do you mean, not here?
Exactly what I said. It was gone when we got up this morning. The boys have had a good look around the property. It's vanished.
Yeah, and when was the last time you saw him? The place is all locked up now.
There you go, Bill, fill that out.
Well,
Ollie.
give us a call if he hasn't surfaced by this afternoon. We'll send someone out to take a look. No worries.
So, what'd he say?
What'd who say?
Sergeant Croydon, you did ask him, didn't you? Wayne, did you or did you not ask him?
I haven't had a chance yet. We've been flat out all morning. Haven't we, PJ?
Yeah, haven't stopped.
Yeah, but what about me? I've had 3 phone calls from prospectives already. I've got people waiting.
Well, the minute he comes up for a breather, I'll ask him, okay?
And you'll phone and let me know what he says?
30 seconds after I know, you'll know.
Look, it's important, darling. There's a lot riding on this. Him, you, 30 seconds me, okay?
Don't ask, okay? Just don't ask.
What are we looking for again?
A harvester?
Look, I'm not up on this sort of stuff, but it's not exactly small, is it?
No. It's about 3 times the size of the caravan. It's got a big box with a rolling cutter on the front, and it's used for harvesting wheat.
It disappears the night before it's due for repo. You think there's something funny going on?
Someone does.
Come on, we're wasting valuable time. It's obviously not here.
Now, where do you suggest looking for it, Mr. Miller?
Well, why don't you ask the mob who stole it?
And which mob might that be?
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me?
Any sign of it?
Cut the dumb act, sweetheart. Next thing you would tell us the fairies nicked it.
Yeah, all right, Mr. Miller. We'll take it from here.
So take it. That truck out there is costing me $1.75 an hour. I don't need this bullshit.
If you don't watch your language, you'll be facing charges of a completely different kind.
We're going to have to ask you to come down to the station and answer a few questions, Mr. Crowley.
I've done nothing wrong.
Nobody's suggesting you have, Mr. Crowley. We just need to take a statement from the registered owner. A description of the machinery, serial numbers.
And preferably an accurate disclosure of its current whereabouts.
We'll come with you.
No, you get going. You'll be late for work. You boys get back and cultivate those seed beds. Come on, let's go.
Let me get this straight, Bob. The harvester was there when you and the family came into town last night.
Parked in the shed as it always is.
But when you got back, it was gone.
Well, I don't know about when we got home, Tom. I don't think anyone bothered to go and have a look last night.
But it was gone this morning.
Yeah.
Any tracks? Any sign of a truck or anything? It's not exactly the sort of thing that's going to fit on the back of a ute.
Oh, it's hard to say. The grounds around the sheds were a real mess.
Lucky thing the thieves held off until after you'd finished harvesting.
That's what I said to Grace and the lads. Very decent of them. Apart from which the thing's insured, which ought to keep the finance company happy.
Doesn't work that way, mate. Whichever way you look at it, a crime's been committed. It's now officially a police matter.
Well, it's painted orange. It's half as big as a house, so it shouldn't be too hard to track down. Even for you blokes.
Maybe he's gone off on a holiday, Mr. Cooper. Maybe he's on another job. You did, eh? Still in the shed? Dog's there too. Right, well, we'll send someone out to take a look as soon as we can. Yeah, Allendale Road.
How much longer are they going to be?
Who knows, mate?
Who cares? Not your worry, is it?
I'm just going to drop Mr. Crowley back at his farm.
Great, I'll go with you. We can check out a missing person on the way back.
Hey, Joe, have you got a minute? Boss would like a word.
Yeah. Don't you worry, son. They're a pretty cluey lot here. They'll find your harvester.
Who's missing?
A local handyman. Bloke by the name of David Tufnell.
Oi! What about me?
Well, Bob's been on the bones of his arse since the wheat prices fell, and that market garden hasn't done him much good. It's possible he's done something he's going to live to regret.
Maybe we should give him a bit of breathing space to come to his senses.
And if he doesn't?
Then we give him a little nudge in the right direction. You can do your bit by having a quiet word in his daughter's ear. Let Grace know that we're prepared to hold off pressing charges against her father on the off chance that the harvester mysteriously turns up back at the property.
Sure, boss.
Mr. Tufnell! Anybody home? Easy, boy.
Mr. Tufnell, are you inside? Dave!
There's no one around the back except the dog. Windows are all locked.
That's not good. Better check inside. Mr. Tufnell? We found him. You okay? Go on, grab a breathe and we'll go check for suspicious circumstances. Looks like natural causes to me, but you never know. Don't you like the dead uns, matey? But you have heaps in the city.
Yeah, we always left them to the government contractors.
Ah, you spoiled bastard. Well, no such luck out here. Right, now once we've checked out inside, you organise the local funeral parlour and I'll go chase up the next of kin. That means you're going to have to ride with the body to the hospital. Can you handle that? That's one of the joys of country policing. You want to hit?
Oi! Anybody home?
Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Miller. What seems to be the problem?
What seems to be the problem? I come all this way to pick up a harvester and end up getting the runaround from a bunch of people who act like they don't even want to know about it.
Nobody's giving you the runaround. We're doing everything we can to locate that harvester. Be patient.
I think I don't know what's going on here, Sergeant.
What exactly is going on here?
Crowley's a locum. I'm the bad guy from out of town, right? The bastard who wants to take away the tools of his trade and sell his kids into slavery,
Are you suggesting...
Look, Crowley knocked up the harvester to clean up the insurance and you blokes are covering for him. You don't have to be Einstein to work that out.
Let's get two things straight, friend. Nobody is giving you the runaround and nobody's covering for anyone.
Yeah, well, try telling that to your inspector when he gets a formal complaint from my office about the lack of police cooperation here. You take Crowley's side in this and lead me up the creek. You can end up in front of a tribunal, Sergeant. Have a nice day.
Very good
like that, though.
You are. You're beautiful.
No, the first time I saw him, we went through together.
Hi. I hope I'm not interrupting. I called at the bank. They said you're at lunch. I was hoping we could have a chat about the harvester.
Leave you to it.
I did interrupt, didn't I? I'm
Have you
sorry.
found it yet?
No, we haven't. Not yet.
Then what do you want with me?
I thought it might be an idea to go back over some of the details of the case.
Why?
Look, I know your father's having a very difficult time at the moment.
Do you? I don't think so. I don't think you know anything about people like my father. Or me either, for that matter. If you did, you wouldn't be questioning me out here where everyone could see us.
If you like, we could go somewhere more private.
It's a bit late for that, isn't it? People see me being questioned by a uniformed police officer. They're probably already thinking the worst. But that's not your problem, is it, Constable?
I was hoping you two might find you had something in common.
Oh, why? Because we're both female and roughly the same age? Isn't that a bit like saying that all Chinese look alike?
You saying I'm racist as well as sexist now?
I thought you wanted me to question her.
The exact expression I used was have a quiet word in her ear. I didn't expect you to go public with a full-scale interrogation.
I didn't interrogate her. I didn't get a chance.
But you know what I mean. Oh, you do know what I mean, Constable. Grace had every right to be upset. You don't approach someone in a public park on a matter like this.
All right, all right. I'm an outsider. I don't understand the problems facing country people and the rest of it. I made a mistake.
One thing I have learned in the 20-odd years I've been in this town, you treat these people with the appropriate dignity and respect, they'll do the same for you.
What if she's involved? Grace works in a bank. She probably understands the economics of the situation better than her father.
You come back to me with the evidence and I'll do the rest. Just don't expect the locals to bend over backwards to help you.
Any suggestions where I go from here without being rude?
You mean without being sexist or racist?
I'll settle for whatever you've got.
All I've got at the moment is a very stroppy repossession agent who's threatening to make an official complaint and your unfounded suspicions.
Yeah, I'm afraid so, Mr. Cooper. Oh, look, we can't say at this stage. We'll know more after the autopsy. But now, the thing is, did he ever mention any relatives to you? All right, well, if you happen to remember anything, can you give us a call? Right, thanks very much. How'd you go?
No worries. What you got, mate?
Local handyman David Tufnell dead in his bath.
Yeah, you need me?
No, it's pretty straightforward, or it will be when I can track down his next of kin.
Well, who signed the body off at the hospital?
Me. Just got back. What?
Nothing.
Mate, that is cruel. Well, it's either him and me, so it's no contest.
Does he know?
No, I figured I'd let it be a surprise.
G'day, Mr. Crowley. Hard at it, I see.
What can I do for you?
Oh, I reckon there's quite a lot you can do for me, Mr. Crowley. You see, me and my friends here, well, we're all hard-working men with families to feed. Just like you.
If it's about the harvester, I've told the police all I know.
Only we work on commission, see? We only get paid when we deliver the goods in question. Which in this particular case happens to be that harvester of yours. No harvester, no money. You see what I'm driving at?
I told you the police have a statement.
Which means our families go hungry. Just like yours would if someone tried to rip you off.
Sorry, Mr.
Where's the harvester, Mr. Crowley? What did you do with it?
Sorry I haven't been much help with this harvester business. I've been a bit tied up. Now, you think Grace Crowley could be involved?
And you don't?
Well, I'm not saying that. Actually, I took Grace out a few times a while back.
PJ, did she strike you as the type who might be prepared to bend the rules for a good enough reason?
Just how intimate am I expected to get here, Maggie?
I'm not asking if you had sex with a PJ. I'm asking if you think she'd be capable of arranging the theft of a father's harvester for insurance purposes.
Well, let's put it this way. I reckon she'd bend the rules a whole lot more for her old man than she ever would for me. If you want to know more about Grace, you should have a chat to Frank Carruthers. Word is they've been seeing a bit of each other lately.
Has he got brown hair and brown eyes and about 190 centimetres? What about him?
No, nothing much. Nice, unassuming country boy, good country stock. Whose old man just happens to run a trucking company.
Trucks?
Yeah, big trucks. Big enough to carry a harvester. No problem.
G'day, Maggie. Hi, Chris.
So they give her a 10-minute lecture about belting up in the back seat, and it turns out it's a dollar.
Boss, PJ.
That's the Are you questioning?
Frank is away on a run. He's due back tomorrow.
Refill, boss?
Just a quick one.
Maggie?
No, thanks, PJ. One of the trucks had dried red mud on it, though. The same kind you find out at the Crowley place.
And probably half the other properties in the district, if the truth be known.
I am aware of that.
Look, don't go getting too involved in this harvester business. You're acting like you're out to prove a point.
I'm sorry, I don't have a vested interest in it one way or the other.
And I do.
I didn't say that.
Some people, it's a tone of voice. Other people, it's the eyes. Yours are a dead giveaway.
I'm just trying to do my job.
Fine, that's what you're here for. Just don't make it personal. Dinner.
You said you'd call. Him, you, 30 seconds me, remember?
Oh, I got caught up again, love.
You're not going to tell me you still haven't seen him yet.
There wasn't time. Nick and I had to go out on a call. This bloke had been dead about 3
Look,
days.
all I'm interested in is if I can start running a beauty parlour from the house so that we can begin to make a little bit of extra money on the side. Look, I can't do that unless Sergeant Croydon gives his approval. And if you won't speak to him, then I will, because I don't intend to spend the rest of my life in this little patch of heaven cleaning vomit out of police cells.
I'll ask him first thing in the morning. I promise.
Yeah, well, you'd better. Had he really been dead for 3 days?
Oh.
Listen, don't tell me I don't want to know. All I want is for you to talk to Sergeant Croydon about using the house.
Your wish is my command.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been so far. Oh, what's that smell? It's horrible.
Oh, the dead guy I told you about. Yeah, the smell gets into your clothes.
Yeah, well, you better have a shower before you come to bed tonight, otherwise I'm filing for divorce.
Now, till death do us part does not refer to someone else's death. Besides which, you get used to it. No, you don't. Not to that, you don't.
Jim, there he is. All right, Miller, on your feet.
Got a problem, boy?
Yeah, we've got a problem.
Hey, come on.
We'll deal with it outside.
Tom?
I said on your feet. You want us to drag you out?
It won't be necessary, boys. I think we just calmly sit down, we have a couple of beers.
I said it's on your feet.
Cut it out! Cut it out! What's going on here?
This bastard and his goons went out to the farm and did the old man over.
I went out to ask him a few questions, Sergeant. He started to get...
That's a...
Oh,
Hold it! Hold it! First man who throws a punch goes straight into the cells, understood? Right, how is he?
He'll live.
The old boy started it, Sergeant.
Shut up
Hey, we
now!
want a few questions.
One more word from you and you're gone. Right, back to the farm. I'll deal with this. If you want a drink, have it at the Grand or buy something to take with you. Tell your old man I'll sort it out with him first thing in the morning.
All right, so this bastard gets
I said I'll deal with it.
Will you just make sure that he gets what's coming to him, all right?
Good night. Go on, scram. You two. You, front desk of the station, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Don't make me come looking for you.
Now, look, Sergeant,
And don't make me repeat it. Now, finish your drinks and bugger off.
I'm booked in here at the pub.
I couldn't care less. 10 o'clock. Got it? No. It's your shout.
Oh, don't you worry. I gave as good as I got. When I got my arms free, that is.
You ought to lay charges. Assault, Trespassing on private property?
Bugger 'em. I've got better things to do with me time. They won't be back.
You ought to at least make your point, Bob. Teach them a lesson.
That type never learn. Be like trying to domesticate a feral cat. Just a waste of bloody effort.
About the harvester. If we don't find it, the finance company's bound to press charges.
Against who? Me?
Who else is there? You're the registered owner. You're the one who stands to make the most if it doesn't turn up.
Now, I had nothing to do with it. Now, you got my word on that. Look, sure, times are tough. I got a mortgage the size of the Great Australian Bight. But I play by the rules, Tom.
Even if playing by the rules means you might eventually lose the property.
Now, what am I going to do after all these years? Turn me back on everything I've been taught? Go feral like them bastards that were out at my place yesterday? Look, in my book, a man is only as good as his word. And when he's not worth knowing.
Boss, Nick said to tell you he's gone over to search Dave Tufnell's place. We're having some trouble locating the next of kin.
Good, something else?
Yeah, there is, actually. It's kind of a personal matter.
Boss, I got Frank Carruthers next door, and the lad is very, very nervous. I reckon we're onto something.
Can it wait?
Yeah, sure.
Frank, you know Sergeant Croydon?
G'day, Sergeant.
Frank was just telling us, Sergeant, he was out of the Crowley property only last week.
It was just to pick Grace up. We were going out to dinner.
Last week. And you haven't been back since? Like the night before last, for instance?
Night before last? No, not me.
Mount Thomas 608 have arrived at deceased's residence. Looks like there's a visitor. You lose something?
You startled me.
Yeah, I can see that. What are you doing here?
Oh, nothing. I read about David's death in the paper and I just thought that I might...
David? You were a friend of the deceased?
I knew him, yes.
Ah, good. We've been having all sorts of trouble trying to trace his next of kin.
Oh, well, I can't really help with that. I didn't know him all that well.
Well, just enough to go through his personal effects.
David borrowed something from me a few years ago. I just wanted it back.
It?
It was something personal. Something totally without value or meaning to anyone but me.
But you're not saying what it is.
I said it's personal.
And it's not among the items you've already got in your car.
They're just some books and some figurines. They're hardly the crown jewels, Constable.
They're not the sort of things someone would take who didn't know him all that well.
I'm not a thief.
I'd like you to come down to the station and answer a few questions.
Is that really necessary? Look, I'll just return the things from the car, all right? Can we just forget this ever happened?
No, I'm afraid we can't. Not unless you can explain exactly what it is you're doing here and what your relationship was with the deceased.
He's lying. It's written all over his face. Grace gets the family out for the night. Frank drives to the farm, picks up the harvester and then stashes it where it won't be found until after the insurance money comes through. He's a boyfriend. The least he can do is help try and save the family farm.
Do whatever you have to do. I'll make sure Frank's in sight when you bring her in. Right. Make sure she gets a good look at him. Now, Thomas Police... Constable!
Don't worry. I'll be discreet.
Make a nice change. Pardon? Pardon? Madam, this is not a beauty parlour, it's the local police station. I don't care what it says in the paper, I'm telling you, it's the police station. Someone's idea of a joke.
Boss, could I have that word with you now?
Yeah,
It's about the house, boss, and Roz.
What's wrong with the house? Not up to city standards?
Oh, no, nothing like that. No, it's just...
Mount Thomas Police? Yeah, I'll let him know. Yeah, he'll be there in 10 minutes. That was the hospital. Seems you were due there half an hour ago.
I was?
You delivered a dead body yesterday?
Yeah.
Then you've got an autopsy to attend. The morgue's different here, son. Whoever signs off the body also has to assist the GMO with the autopsy.
You're kidding me. Hey, Nick didn't say anything about that yesterday.
You better get your skates on. They're waiting.
Your first, is it?
Yeah.
It'll be all over in a flash. One of my more illustrious predecessors was known to complete an examination in under 30 minutes. Mine takes slightly longer. Right, shall we strike another blow for medical science? "10:52 a.m., Tuesday the 6th of September. Subject's name, David Arthur Tufnell, male, 53 years old. Scalpel, please, Constable."
The poetical works of Byron. Mr. Tufnell fancied a bit of poetry, did he? To dearest David, all my love, Lynette. Mrs. Radcliffe, we have no desire to pry into your personal affairs, but if you could just explain why you're at the deceased's this morning.
I can't do that, Sergeant.
Are you any relation to the Radcliffes at Lake End?
They're my husband's family. Please, I'd appreciate it if you kept them completely out of this.
Mrs. Radcliffe?
David and I were friends. We shared an interest in poetry. That's all I can tell you.
Sorry, no facials and no manicures. Madam, this is definitely the Mount Thomas police station. Well, then you better give the local paper a call. Bye-bye. Beauty parlour.
Look, how long am I expected to wait here? I got things to do.
You'll have to take that up with the sergeant, Mr. Miller.
I think I won't. Get him out here.
We're taking a run out to the Tufnell place.
And did you get any calls for a beauty parlour this morning, mate?
Yeah, I did. I got two. They said they saw him advertised in the local paper.
Look, you've got nothing on me. I don't have to be here if I don't want to be. There's nothing to stop me giving you the big A and walking out right now.
This may or may not be true, Mr. Miller. Why don't you put it to the test, eh?
Anyone with the boss, PJ?
Nope.
Through here, Miss Crowley.
How's it going, Grace?
You tell me.
This way.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Why don't you just leave in?
Liver, weighed by Constable Patterson, was...
983 grams.
Organs lower left end appear slightly enlarged and discoloured. Tissue sample taken this date, 11:35 a.m. for further analysis. That completes the examination of the lower cavity. Now we'll move on to the head cavity. Still with us, Constable? Good. Cranial saw, please.
Is this really necessary? Can't you just let the dead rest in peace?
No, I can't, Mrs. Radcliffe, any more than you could. Apart from which it happens to be my job.
You don't even know what you're looking for.
Yeah, well, I might, if you'd be a little bit more cooperative.
You can't be serious. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Easy, Grace.
It's not all that ridiculous when you consider.
You're from the city. You take it for granted everyone's out to rip off the system because that's what people do in the city. Even the police.
No one's accusing anyone of anything at this stage, Grace. All we're after is the answers to a few simple questions, that's all.
Dad's never done one wrong thing in his entire life, Sergeant Croydon. You should know that. You're supposed to be mates.
We're not talking about your father, Grace. We're talking about you.
I don't understand.
You saw Frank Carruthers outside when you came in. PJ's had a bit of a talk with him.
Yes, yes, quite a long talk. We've heard his side of the story, now we'd like to hear yours.
What did he tell you?
We'd rather not say it, at least not till you've had a chance to explain things.
That farm is everything to Dad. His whole life.
I know.
What was I supposed to do? Just stand by and watch while he lost everything he'd ever worked for? Maybe Jim and Warren could, but I couldn't.
So you got together with Frank and made a plan.
Frank was just doing me a favour.
By picking up the harvester?
It wasn't just that the payments to the finance company were overdue. I checked through the accounts at work. Dad had let the insurance go too.
Wasn't there some other way you and your brothers...
All that land, you see, the livestock, everything, we don't own it. The bank does. Most of what we earn goes to paying off the mortgage, not even paying it off. Just trying to stop it going through the roof. By the time we cover expenses, there's nothing left. Nothing. I just wanted to give him some breathing space until the advance for next year's crop came through.
Easy, love, it's all right.
It seemed like such a harmless thing to do. Only Frank and I would know what he was going to get hurt.
Well, what do we have here? Are these what you're after, eh?
Give them to me.
No, they've got the deceased's name on them. They're officially part of his estate.
They're mine. I wrote them. Please. They won't tell you anything you need to know for your files.
Well, let's see what they tell me.
I had a relationship with David. He was the overseer on my husband's property. It was all of 8 years ago. We had a lot in common. You know, love of good books, good music. It wasn't something we planned, it just happened. It was over almost as soon as it began. We were both very mature and very rational about it. If we'd been 5, 10 years younger, it may have been different. But we weren't. And it wasn't. There was a child. There is a child. It's my daughter, Sophie. My husband thinks he's her natural father. That's why I wanted those letters back, badly.
What else can you tell me about Mr. Tufnell?
Well, apart from the fact that he loved Byron and Marla and he was a good, honest, hard-working man who cared nothing for material success. Not much, I'm afraid. He never spoke about the past, and I made it a point never to ask.
And this was as far as he got? Did you continue to see each other?
No, we didn't. I wrote occasionally, but he never replied. For which, in the end, I think I was grateful. He was a good man. So now you have what you came for. I'd better be getting back. That is, unless, of course, you're still determined to charge me with something.
No, you're free to go. Mrs. Radcliffe, You might as well take these, you're right. There's nothing in the money for the files.
Thank you. Now that I've told you, maybe one day I'll find the courage to tell my daughter.
There you go.
Oh, thanks. I mustn't look a wreck.
You look fine.
Like my world's about to fall apart and all I can think about is how I look.
Grace, I'm sorry the way it turned out.
It's nothing to do with you. You were just doing your job.
You were right about me not knowing much about the bush or farmers. Maybe when this is over, you could...
Show you the ropes. You might have to visit me in jail first.
I'm sure it won't come to that. Not if the Sarge has any say in it.
Oh, you've got to be kidding. You want me to wear all this extra time and expense and just forget the whole thing ever happened?
If you do push ahead with these charges and Grace is convicted, the worst she'll get is a suspended sentence.
So?
Any legal conviction automatically means she loses a position at the bank.
So, she makes a mistake. She pays for it.
We could always go back to her father and convince him to press charges against you for assault, trespassing.
His daughter was up to her ears in a scam to defraud my client. I had every right to be there.
Not if it was for the express purpose of physical intimidation, Mr. Miller.
He can't press charges. He's got no witnesses. Now, look, just because I collect debts for a living...
It's not what you do for a living, Mr. Miller. Most debt collectors manage to treat people as decent human beings. You treat them like shit.
Because by and large, that's how they treat me. You spend half your life being cursed and spat on by the general public. It starts to rub off.
OK, it's a tough job and you're a little out of pocket, but at least you got what you came for. Now, why destroy a young woman's career just to prove a point?
Proving a point is what it's all about. I let people like the Crowley girl put it over me. Then word gets out I'm a soft touch. I lose credibility. Then I'm out of a job. I'm going with the charges, OK?
For 2 pins...
I know, boss. You'd start a tailor shop. Don't let it worry you. It's not worth it. Now comes the hard part. I'll do it if you like.
No, I'll do it. Grace Crowley, you will be charged with conspiracy to defraud the Mutual Acceptance Finance Company, and your co-conspirator Frank Carruthers will be charged with stealing the harvester. You're not obliged to say anything at this stage, but anything you do say will be taken down and used in evidence against you. Do you understand this? Off the record, it wasn't Frank who gave you away. He told us nothing.
So, what was the cause of death?
Well, I'd say natural causes. Cardiac arrest brought on by a blockage in the left ventricle. Wasn't so bad, was it? Well, at least you didn't throw up like most of them do first time round.
Most of them?
Yes, one young man. Goodness gracious, he spent all his time in the toilet. Constable Schultz?
Constable Nick Schultz?
That's him. Oh, he really was quite a mess by the time we'd finished.
But I had food poisoning. I had stomach cramps like you wouldn't believe. Did she tell you that?
Oh, she told me plenty, matey. She told me so much I'm going to enjoy telling everyone else.
Well, I'm telling you, I was a sick man who was as crook as a dog. Mount Thomas Police. Now, madam, I'm afraid we don't provide that service here.
As soon as she signed a statement, she can go back to work.
I can assure you this is not a beauty parlour. It is the Mount Thomas Police Station. Because I happen to be a policeman who happens to work here. What's going on here?
I think I've just worked that out. Constable Patterson, a word, my office.
I was out for an hour at the most.
I thought I had the answering machine switched on, but apparently it wasn't.
You don't know the half of it.
So the first couple of calls were transferred through to the station?
6 calls were transferred through to the station. One of them went straight into the sergeant's office.
I'm sorry. Oh, Wayne, for goodness sake, it's not as if I did it intentionally. And as long as he knew about it...
He didn't know about it. I hadn't had a chance to talk to him about it yet.
You promised me faithfully you were going to tell him first thing this morning.
Yeah, but I didn't get a chance, did I? Because I was too busy pretending to be a cop, delivering summonses, attending post-mortems, weighing odd little items like livers and kidneys.
Excuse me, Wayne, we have company?
Not for long. The boss has given this whole beauty parlour thing of yours the axe. As of this minute, you're officially out of business.
Oh, that's great. That's just fantastic. You forget to tell him now I'm out of a business. You had 2 whole days, Wayne. 2 whole days.
Well, maybe you should have talked to me before you put the ad in the paper.
It was a simple request, Wayne. I asked you to just ask him one question.
I forgot.
G'day, Tom.
Well, they've got to be done.
Hey, Bob, I saw your car parked out the front. I just wanted to say I'm sorry about what happened with Grace. Under the circumstances, we had no choice. But if there's anything...
Drink up, boys. I'll get you another one.
Well, you know where I am. Haven't you got a home?
Oh, I just finished the Tufnell report.
The deceased? To work out what his relationship was with the Radcliffe woman?
No, like she said, they were just friends. Going for a quick one?
No, I think I'll give it a miss tonight. Days like today, suddenly early retirement doesn't seem like such a bad idea. Good night.
Good night.
Did our friends by any chance apply for a wide load permit?
Not to my knowledge.